Hey folks, we're back. I'm your host BKP, and we're at Circuit World in Blue Ridge. Beautiful, cold morning.
Oh my gosh.
But it's beautiful out. Look at it. It's beautiful. Right here where we're sitting, we can see the fire right there on the hill.
Yes.
Of the leaves
Those
changing,
leaves.
right?
Yeah. It's,
fire on the mountain.
It's so gorgeous, but it is cold. Like, it's a shock to the system cold.
It's a shock to the system cold.
Yes.
You have cold definitions.
Yes. This is we started yesterday like in the 70s and we ended the day in the 30s. People were saying the S word yesterday evening around town.
Snow.
That they were seeing it.
Oh, I was wondering. What S word are we throwing around here? Woo! This is a family-friendly show. Anyhow, so a shock to your system cold. Jessie Barton, Community Relations Director from Cameron Hall and Ella J, North Georgia Senior Living. Jessie, what we were talking about is, when you're hearing every day, okay, you turn on the news, and we're not going there, but it seems like we're in crisis mode, and we're in this crisis, and this is a disaster, and it seems like everybody or the media, to me, wants all of us to live in some kind of crisis mode, and this is the a crisis. And where we're getting at is what you do. Don't get my words, and then you clean it up. Don't get yourself or your family into crisis mode, and now you have to just start making really quick decisions.
Right.
And then, I will say this from personal experience, then you're making very quick decisions, and then you're stepping back and judging those decisions.
Sure.
Oh, did I do the right thing?
Sure.
All the above.
Sure.
When reality is we get to the next year, and we get to the next year as far as our age, and we are going to get to that year.
Sure.
Everybody gets to that year.
Sure.
Correct?
We start aging the day we're born.
Right. Everybody gets to that year, and what you want to do is gingerly invite everybody to help plan.
Well, it's so funny because they see senior living or they see assisted living, and it's like, oh, I don't need you yet. And they turn and walk the other way. Even at the chili cook-off that we were at last weekend, oh, I don't need y'all yet. If I eat your chili, I'm going to have to move there, kind of thing. It was so funny.
No,
it obligates you.
Yeah, give me a minute. If I eat the chili, do I have to move in? I got it.
It's
That was
worth
great.
it, though.
That
That chili was good. But it's so funny because when I'm out and about, people are like, no, I don't need to come visit your building. Well, I'm not inviting you to come visit to move in. I'm just inviting you to see what's out there. So people are so, I don't want to have that conversation. We've put such a negative connotation on long-term care because we tend to say, Mom, Dad, if you don't behave, I'm going to put you in the nursing home one day. We've threatened our family with this, and so naturally our family is not going to tell us anything that's wrong because, heaven forbid, there's this negative connotation, and we don't want to go to this terrible nursing home, which they're not terrible anymore. And so I just want to invite people to think about making that decision while you still can. It's the same thing as, people pre-plan for their funerals. It's the same thing. Have a plan in place, because when you're in crisis mode and you're sitting at the hospital with Mom and Dad, and the discharge planner says, I'm sorry, your dad can't go home by himself anymore. Well, suddenly you're looking at, oh, shoot, do I need to move him somewhere? Do I need to take off work and stay with him?
And you're doing this in a matter of hours and days.
Sometimes hours.
Yes, you're
doing
yes.
Sometimes an hour.
Because I do know, and from personal experience, that I'll just say caseworker or whatever. Yes. But I do know from experience of having a parent in the hospital, and and there's a checklist for discharge. Mm-hmm. And in that checklist for discharge, early that morning, I'm your parent caseworker, and now is there somebody at home, mm-hmm. or are there handicap bars in the showers in the bathroom?
Right.
Is somebody with them 24 hours? And you start answering these questions, and you're like, I wasn't ready to answer these questions. I just always said one day I would do whatever, and that's when you get in crisis point. And we're not trying to scare you folks. We're really not, but we know it happens. We know it happens, and we know people get in crisis situations where they have to make a decision right then, and their planning is not, that's okay, come on, you're already here. All right, you're playing a live show,
Absolutely.
but that's okay. Your planning gets taken away from you.
Sure.
What I would say is you don't want to lose the opportunity to do some planning at a comfortable time when the pressure's not there, correct?
Right. We think that when we make these decisions, we're losing or giving up our independence. But if you think about it on the flip side, if you don't make the decisions and somebody has to make them for you, that independence has been taken away. So it's not a scare tactic. It's just we say, oh, these things aren't going to happen to us. Well, we're going to age. We're aging right now. We're going to face some kind of crisis eventually. We hope not. We hope it's not a severe crisis. But the likelihood is that we're going to face some kind of either a health scare, a physical scare, we have a fall. Those things happen.
Well, one more thing, and I want to know because, I think you just say things that are really going on. I mean, in the 70s, okay? And I'll just go back there, how many of you remember those like I do. But we went through a time in this country where maybe mom and dad, and you say put them in the home, grandparents didn't go somewhere because there was still somebody usually at home during the day, or at that time there was still a lot of stay-at-home moms, we'll say like that didn't work outside the home.
Yeah.
So grandma and grandpa could move in. Mom could say, "Did you take your medicine?"
Right.
Right. But that gradually changed to where we're in a society that nobody's at home till evening. We rush home, go to bed, eat, go to bed, get up, and everybody leaves in the morning and doesn't come back till late, right?
Sure.
So there's nobody to care for mom and dad if you move them in. There's nobody to say to mom and dad, did you take your medicine, or you got to do this now, or we got to get to this doctor's appointment.
Right.
It's just different.
It's a completely different society. And, pros and cons to both types of situations.
I think it's great if you are in position and have and you can in position to be able to bring mom and dad to live with you and care for them. That's great. That's ideal. Okay. Sure. But we're at a point in this country where that's a smaller percent now than what it was. And would you agree? Am I right?
There definitely a much smaller percentage, and there's actually a flip side to that now. We'll just say that the folks that are at that point to make that move, they don't want to go live with their children. If you think about it, they're basically moving into a guest room.
Right.
And I gave a presentation and I said, how many of you in this room are willing to go live with a son or a daughter? Not one person raised their hand.
No, they don't. I'll agree with that. When my grandmother, real quick, my grandmother was at a point she couldn't live alone. She invited us to come live with her.
Absolutely.
Because she's going to stay in her house.
Absolutely.
So that is one of the difficult moves that's coming out of their house. But Jessie, I want to tell you, what we've been talking about right now is the inevitable. Is that correct?
Sure.
I wanted to say that just to put those many syllables together. You know how I get. So
big words.
But it's right. It's going to happen. It's coming. You either have the discussion, mom and dad have to move in with you, something, or we have to do something where they're cared for. And the very minute you don't want to get into crisis and have that taken away from you.
Sure. Have a plan, and maybe the hopes are that you don't need to use the plan.
Exactly.
You never know.
Community Relations Director at Cameron Hall, Jessie Barton here, and North Georgia Senior Living. Jessie, tell them how they can get in touch with you and just start discussions now. Find out things about Cameron Hall or all the things that you will be glad to help them through at any time, especially this time now to make plans.
Sure. Call me at 706-515-4100. Find us on the web at CameronHallofLJ.com.
And no, folks, if you eat the chili, you don't have to move in.
No, because... Again, it's another award-winning chili.
You won an award?
We did. We won the award for Best Classic Chili.
Oh my God! Now you're gonna label the stuff and sell it. Classic chili.
But it wasn't
From the
classic,
kitchen of Cameron Hall.
because it had brisket in it.
Ooh.
I don't know.
Jesse, you have to be somewhere. You got to get back down. We're in
Yep.
Blue Ridge. She's got to get back down to Ella J. So we got to cut this segment a little short. But we're bringing back Rick and Bruce. We're going to round out. Sorry if you usually turn in this. Bruce is not here. Rick and Jay. I said Bruce. Okay. If you usually tune in at this time for the Pet of the Week, we're very sorry. So we don't have our Pet of the Week, but we'll be right back with the close of the All-Star Political Panel with winner and losers. We'll be right back. Thank you, Jesse.